Here is the last foundation. We're going to come through the property, completely overgrown. Nothing has been here for absolutely decades and decades. And here we start to see the next abandoned foundation. This actually is a rock wall donating a garden, probably vegetable garden or something like that. And that's how they used to do it. They used to do these little walls. You can see immediately, completely hidden behind it is another foundation. Here's the wall, the garden wall again. That's the frame of a window that's been discarded, and here we see the footer of what was a wood frame home, and we know that because we can see where the 2x8s were actually tied down using these bolts here. Now I'm going to clear off over the next few days this area by hand and see how big the foundation footer is. However, it is quite a large structure. That has got to be, I'm looking at from here up to here is probably 40 feet. And if we go back here, there is also a cistern. Let me find it. I was just standing over there, and the house foundation runs all the way to here. That's 40 feet, and I estimate 20 feet from the other side to me, maybe a bit longer. And here is the cistern. We can see the opening with water showing back at us. The hatch is obviously long gone. However, you can see where the rainwater was collected into the cistern through that pipe there. So this is really quite exciting. Again, I'm going to do the necessary research on the title over the last... there's been nothing here since 1970 at the earliest. I've got a map of 1970 and it doesn't show anything here. And talking to some of the locals in the village, they don't even remember these houses ever being here. So, and I'm talking to people who are my age, 60. So I'm going to try and find somebody who's 80. There is a lady I was told I needed to talk to, so I'm going to try talking to her. That's it. Thank you. So how much work can a 60-year-old guy do in a few hours just by hand carrying? So how about a 6-foot-high pile of stuff? That'll going to make a good burn pile one day, and we can begin to see the outline of the foundation coming in. So, there it is. Well, I've spent 2 days, and as you can see, my burn pile has gotten much bigger. It's taller than I am now. It's about 7 feet tall. So let me show you what you can see right now. That pretty water. Pretty water. All right. The big reveal. Ta-da! Okay, this is the garden that was sitting outside, well, the garden area sitting outside the front of the house. We can see these really cute, ornate stone and cement walls, I don't know what you'd call them, that bordered the area. This corner has been taken out by this huge casuarina tree, but you can see where the garden wall, let's call it that, extended. It's so cute. I wonder what the story is of whoever put this together. Wow. And then over here, past my, here's the window frame that I stumbled over when I was pushing my way through earlier. I'll pull those out. There's actually two there, it appears. They're obviously no good, but nevertheless. Here's my fruit selection for today. A carrot, banana, a couple of apples and an orange. And I keep everything dry by putting it in these buckets and then putting these waste bins, these recycling bins over the top of the bucket, and that keeps the rain out. And last night it rained quite a bit, and you might be able to see the water just there. Yeah, all right. I have a shovel, a machete. I did this all with a shovel and a machete so far. I managed to rescue a couple of garden hoses. And okay, so here we can see the footer of the house, which runs off to over there and then extends back, I anticipate 40 feet. So the next thing I have to do now is start to remove these sea grapes, that's what they're called, sea grapes bushes. And as you can see, they've overgrown from the side. Now that should be reasonably easy because this is cement, and so there are no roots down, unlike here, which is just sand underneath here. So it was really, really difficult. And here you can see the trees. Now I actually, a long time ago, cut these two down in 2005 or 6 when I was clearing, and I didn't realize that I was clearing the wrong place. And you can see some more over there that I cut down, and these have since grown in the last 10 years. These have all grown in the last 10 years because when I cut this down there was nothing there. So anyway, there it is. Just standing and walking makes you sweat, but all this physical activity has got to be good for me. I've almost lost my stomach already, and I've been using my right arm to do macheteing, so that's got to be good for me too. So I've discovered 2 more window frames, which I'm putting all over there. So I'm going to carry on now with the main foundation. So I've started to clear that. I've got my milk cooling. You see, can you see that? There you go. Cooling in cold water. And I have my work clothes on. So I walk here in my civvies and then I put my clothes on, and and I have a clothesline now. So I use the black towel to wipe myself off sweat profusely. So let's see how far I get today. Whoa, wow. Well, it's getting there. I gotta stay out of the sun. I can't work with my hat on though. It's just, I need the scalp exposure to be able to perspire. Oh, wow, but gotta be good exercise. Oh. But worthwhile and fun. Okay. So I've just looked at the previous videos, and from a week ago, 8 days ago, and I smiled at how little my burn pile was, because if you take a look at it now, it's huge. That's 20 feet long and 8 feet high. Okay, so let's take a look at what the results of that were. I have the footer cleared off of vegetation, but not of ground dirt. So let's take a look. So here's the burn pile. Almost can't see the ocean anymore. Got to come all the way over here. There it is, pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, here are the window frames, some of the ones I've excavated. And here is the site. You can see where the front garden was quite clearly now. And you can see where the house foundation is. That still has to be cleared off, but it is about 35 feet by about 30 feet. I'll take an exact measurement later. And there's this big tree here that's supporting itself by roots coming up the side that I have to take out. This particular one here. And so in order to do that and some other stuff, I've got to do a path up to the property, a driveway. I've used a poor man's chainsaw, so I bought a 30-inch bow saw for 20 bucks at the local hardware store. And I'm going to be using that to cut that tree down. Trees like this, which also have to come down because they're eventually going to be too close to the house, are going to need a chainsaw, but I'm not going to even think about doing that until I'm ready to actually build on the foundation. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a path up to the property here, make use of the fact that there's almost no vegetation but no vehicles, because those 4 big casuarina trees there will stop anything coming this way, and then on the other side of that there's going to be a parking spot. So we'll take a look at that later. So the burn pile has now doubled in size at least, and we're doing some clearing. It's easier to rake up the needles into piles and then burn them on site than it is to try and move them around into one huge pile. So that's the foundation at the moment, still covered in topsoil, and eventually that's going to be a huge bonfire. So another update shortly. We're towards the latter stages of getting the foundation cleared. I say we because I've had some help from a neighbor, which was very sweet. Anyway, so I'm sitting here upwind watching a few fires burning, making sure I keep a close watch on them. But as you can see, the foundation is very clearly defined now. Soaking some palm trees in the cistern. Apparently I read on the internet that you have to soak them for 2 or 3 days in water before you plant them, so this is day 2. Anyway, so see what happens. Well, it's a windy day, which is good. Makes working easier, and it's a little bit overcast as well, so the sun is hidden a little bit. Okie doke. So here's the final burn pile, and this is the foundation. Let's take a look. I don't have a tape measure, but it appears to be about 25 feet by 35 feet. And we can see it used to be a wood frame home. And you can tell from those nuts there that it was a long time ago, because nuts aren't square shaped these days. Over here are all of the windows that I recovered from underneath 4 to 6 inches of topsoil. So it would appear that the house was taken out by a hurricane. Okay. We have a slight hole in the foundation where they didn't pour the concrete properly. And here is where the toilet used to be. That's a 3-inch hole, and now we use 4-inch pipe, so that will have to be pulled out and abandoned. I've no idea where that water pipe goes to or where the septic is. Did a little bit of digging to see if we could find the septic pipe coming out on either side, but we couldn't. So anyway, this entire area at the back here is a cistern, which extends the full length of the foundation from there to here, and is approximately that wide. I have no idea what the capacity is. I could work that out, obviously, but I don't know how deep it is yet. But anyway, I've actually had my head down inside there and confirmed that it extends all the way through to the other side of the foundation. So now the next thing to do is to locate the septic tank and see where that is. So anyway, and then sometime in the next few weeks I'm going to have a huge bonfire. I'll let that dry out for at least another week or two, and then do a video of that being burnt, which should be quite fun. I've got my laundry over here. I moved it. Now, the old house that I built is over there. And over on this part of the property, there are 2 other foundations, but I didn't want to develop any of these 2 because they're so close to the old house. But here is another foundation with a cistern also in the back there, and then beyond that, in those bushes, is another complete foundation. And so I cut an access road to the property, which runs obviously all the way to my right along the beach. There's the old gazebo that I built, and here is the way out to the beach. And that's Sandy Point in the distance there. And I'll show you the access road I cut. So here we are back at the foundation. If we carry on to the right, this property is about 1.5 acres in size. Here's an open area that I cleared out so that I could turn the car around. And here is the pathway that I cut. Obviously someone here was having some fun in the past, a drinking spot of some sort. And here I've got all of the cans that I found. But anyway, so here is the driveway. There's the Bronco that I'm currently living in. And here is the driveway to the road to access this property. That is to Marsh Harbour, and that is to Sandy Point.